Hello, and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is the show called this, you may ask, so I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guest and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And of course, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my wonderful guest, Kourtney Levens. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to both of us to connect with like-minded people. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Rae, and I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy. And I'm a guide who helps you remember your divine presence so that you can heal your past, find your purpose, create your future to expand your consciousness, understand your spiritual path, get clarity on the next steps, and take charge of your destiny so that you can fulfill your purpose in this lifetime. Now, each episode of the show covers various themes of your journey. A mini guided meditation, a angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Kourtney Levens, about the secrets of an angel reader. Now, for more than 15 years, Kourtney has served the world as an executive spiritual advisor, angel communicator, teacher, healer, and mentor. Known for her down to earth angel demeanor and relatable personality, Kourtney connects deeply with her clients, providing insight and divine inspiration, using her gifts of seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing. Courtney communicates directly with angels and guides, relaying their guidance in an understandable way. Courtney expanded her services to include not only her Angel School of Heaven and Earth, Angel Card Reader certification, but also executive level mentoring for business professionals and high achievers. She coaches athletes, authors, CEOs, lawyers, and other entrepreneurs to achieve the highest possible outcomes with specific instructions from on high. Now, as a mum of three girls, she stays busy with family life, and her forthcoming book, An Angel Cards, Oracle Cards deck. Now, with testimonials such as Courtney doesn't just communicate with angels, she is an angel. She gives you the truth and then gives you the most amazing support. And I discovered Courtney during one of my most difficult times in my life. She did a personal reading for me and knew everything I was going through exactly. Her energy is pure love and light. She even showed me how to keep my energy high, heal the pain, and rebuild my new life path, right down to meeting my soulmate. And I personally have also had a reading with Courtney. And I have to say that the information that Courtney relayed to me was amazing because not only about the labyrinth that I plan on having my retreat, which I had not mentioned whatsoever, but also gave me an area to look as well as some other information. So without further delay, hello, Courtney, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
Hello, Ray. I am so glad to be here, and I love seeing in the comments where people are saying hi from wherever they are. So I love hearing that, seeing that. Love being with y'all. Love the energy. So thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that not only can you share this video, but you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Courtney and I want to be part of this conversation. So please don't be shy. And we've already got Osmosel saying hi from France, and Marie-Louise who's saying good evening. So please don't be shy. And if you have any questions that come up during the show, just ask them. So, Courtney, why don't you tell us more about your journey with the angels and how we can connect and communicate with the angels?
Yeah, Ray, it's so funny. So pre-show, my daughters were in here, and I wasn't born with this ability to necessarily see my angels like some people were as a child. It was something that, they say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of all creations. Um, my mom died in my 20s, and she and I had worked together. We drove to and from work together. We were best friends, and her advice, her love, her wisdom, that was what I longed for. So this was really out of necessity that I said, I still want to talk to her. And there are people who can do this, and maybe they can teach me how to do it. I mean, I liked going to psychics and liked going to readers, and and it was only after I had decided I was going to do this did I look back and realize my mom and grandma had always collected angel figurines. So by default, guess who also collected them, right? And angel books. And so it was really neat, this culmination of how everything divinely, just the puzzle pieces fit. I quit my job. I flew halfway across the world to go get my angel reader certification. And I'll tell you, when I was in the class, I sucked. I mean, being totally frank with you, I closed my eyes during the practice exercises and got nothing, and thought, boy, I've really screwed this up, haven't I? But I paid so much for the course, I wasn't going to quit and turn around and go home. So I stuck it out, finished the course, went home. And because I had left my job, I wasn't going to go back with my tail between my legs, begging dad for a job. So I decided to do readings out of my house. And we're talking 30 minutes of meditation, or what I thought was meditation. My meditation is so counterproductive. So I sat there and did whatever I thought I could do to get connected. And the first client came in, and I remember just vividly going, does your husband have a mustache? And she said, well, yes, he does. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest, right? And that was how I did readings. It was completely out of necessity. But I'm here to tell you, if you have ever wanted to be able to communicate what they say through the veil to your angels, to your guides, even loved ones on the other side, it is something, it is a skill you can develop. It is something you can learn, you can polish, you can grow. And the really cool thing about it is this is your birthright. This is your natural God-given talent, gift, ability. Because if you think about it, spirit is all around us and wants so badly to help us navigate through life. You know, for those of you who are parents out there, I was talking with a client and he said, if my son would just do what I told him to do, if he would just listen to me and follow my guidance, his life would be great. And that's when it kind of struck me. And I thought, wow, that must be what God is thinking. If you would just listen to me. So how do we listen to him more, right? That's why he has the angels. They are his messengers to come down and help us, because he looks at us and says, oh my gosh, you're so perfect. Your life is so great. And we go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I got a mortgage to pay. You know, what about this and this? Bills are due. Hey, you know, Christmas is coming up and we need some more cash, all of that kind of stuff. So our angels, they are that tool to communicate. Now, do you have to go through the angels? No, they're just an extension of God. They're an extension of you. So it really is you being able to communicate directly with spirit, source, creator, God, the great I am, and with your angels.
Yeah, beautiful. And it sounds so simple, so easy, and yet people are still like, yeah, but I still can't do it. You know, so it's kind of like, I suppose it's really that confidence thing, isn't it? Really, we don't have a lot of confidence, and we get in our own way sometimes. Our own mind gets in the way, maybe because of conditioning, society, etc., that we don't trust.
Absolutely, Rae. My students who are learning how to communicate with their angels and guides and even go on to become readers, one of the biggest difficulties that they face and that we work through hand in hand is eradicating that doubt and letting them know, no, you really are getting this. You didn't make up this information or what you're seeing. And we focus on that quite a bit, because I've never had a student who couldn't get a message, but their biggest hurdle to overcome is being confident to say, here's what I'm getting. And so it's something we really, really work on. I give you those tips and tricks, the little benchmarks of, okay, here's what you can ask to know if this is your imagination or not. And here's how you know if it's really from your angels and guides. So those little tips and tricks that I didn't learn for years in this profession, I'm able to short circuit and cut through and say, hey, here you go. Here's a way to get through that and get out of our own way so we can receive the messages.
Yeah, which again is kind of like how we can actually, you know, do it. I mean, there are many different methods out there, and it's finding the right one that works for you, I'm guessing, because what might work for someone might not work for someone else, and they need to find a different way of doing it.
Sure. There are so many people who are clairvoyant, where you see, they may look up at a cloud and go, oh, there's a heart that gives me the answer to what I've been searching for. Others of us go, oh no, that makes no sense to me. I don't know what that means. But we hear the doorbell or our name called, and that's a different technique of getting those messages versus someone who goes, ooh, I was thinking about applying for this job and all of a sudden got sick to my stomach and thought, no, I'm not going to do that. So even another way they're communicating, and learning your own personal communication style with your angels and guides is really one of the first things that you want to do, so that you can understand the specific ways they're communicating with you.
Yeah, beautiful. So what was the so you've sort of like you came into it through your mum passing, and you that first message where you went, do word of mouth. What would be the most profound or memorable angel message that you've ever received? Was it a great big aha, or was it just straightforward, oh, this is what this is?
It changes at different points in my life. Different messages will be more profound than others, I've found. And some of my clients, the messages for them really, really mean a lot more to them than they do to me. But I remember getting the message, love everyone, hate no one. And I thought, okay, but wait, but what about so-and-so? They were mean and ugly, right? And then when I really went into what that meant, and how everything is connected and how we're all connected, it meant so much more. And it was, oh, don't hate that person because you're really hating yourself, or you're hating God. And that was profound at that time. There, one of the ladies I coach is an Olympic hopeful. And one of the messages that came through for her was, this isn't you trying to tackle the ski slope. This isn't you trying to be perfect. This is you and your skis becoming one with the snow, with the mountain, and you enjoying it as it takes you, and bringing in the energy from here, from spirit, from your fans, from you internally. And it pulled up and showed us the number 3, which was pretty cool. And she went, 3, that's been my favorite number my entire life, and I didn't know why. And so that was really profound, had a really big meaning for her. And she went and she said, when she was at the starting gate, she said she was sitting there breathing, and she breathed in from the top. So breathed in from her angels and guides and source, breathed in the energy from her fans, breathed in the energy from her earth, herself, connected it all, and skied her best run. So that was really profound for her. Whereas if I tell somebody else the number 3, they might go, you're a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So it just depends. Telling one of my clients that I said, if you stay in this relationship, I see it being really rough. You have free will. But if you go this way, I see twin boys and a wife and a spiritual business. And being able to show those different destiny lines, that has been the most profound for people.
Beautiful, yeah, and they're like there's different messages for different people, and I can see we've got people watching this, so please do say hello. And if you've got any questions about angels that you want to ask, you've got Courtney here. Take advantage, of it. And Richard says hi, Courtney, everyone from Fresno in California, and Adriana says sending warm greetings from Seattle. So don't be shy. Please do ask any questions that you want. So is it a particular angel that comes through, or are there different types of angels that come through for whatever the message is? I mean, how do they come through to you?
It's so neat because it has evolved. So years ago, going close to 20 years now, when I started doing this, I might see a little fuzziness on the wall, or I might start talking to a client and I would start yawning. And if any of you have ever had a reading with me, you know that when Archangel Raphael, the angel of health and healing, comes through, oh, he reminds us that breath is the essence of life and to expand our lungs. So inevitably, I yawn every time when he comes through, still to this day. Archangel Michael, I love him. He is like probably my all-time favorite angel to work with. He is my BFF. He watches over our personal safety as well as our financial security. So I call on him quite a bit, guide me, bring me the right clients and everything, keep my kids safe, keep me safe, with all that protection and shielding from any unwanted energy. So really, really love him, but he comes through very clearly for me. And so now when I see him clairvoyantly. I see him, he used to come through and I'd see his angel wings. Now he comes through, and depending on what the message is for the client, he may have on like body armor. I remember right before COVID, he came in and I went, "What are you wearing?" And it was like, think of the time of Spartan, right? And they had all the armor and the leather and everything. And over the weeks and months, I could start seeing the little scroll work inside the metal. So the way they come through evolves, and I can see more detail. And it also depends on the client. Saint Germain is an ascended master who I've been working with a little bit more here recently. And he used to come in and I would see a human face, right? Just a man. And that was how I saw him. And I knew that was Saint Germain. But here recently, he's come in and he's showing me his Merlin. I get the wizard, the hat, everything. So I see that a lot. And when they come through, they use all of my senses, sort of like if you were to reach down and eat something. So I'm here in Texas and we love nachos and Mexican food. So if you were to eat a nacho, you would see it, you would probably smell it. And as you picked it up, you would touch it. And then as it got to your mouth, you would be able to taste it, and you would have all of your senses working, and they would work in tandem to give you that final taste of that nacho and all those flavors, right? Same thing when I'm communicating with the angels, the guides, ascended masters, the infinite council. I use all of my senses that come in. I see them, I hear them, I feel them. There is a knowing that comes in of the messages they're here to portray. Plus, our angels also use anything we know so that we can grasp that and go, "Oh, wait, hold on. I just had a thought about Uncle Joe or Susie Q. Why would I think about that person? Maybe I need to call that person," right? And you end up calling each other at the same time or texting, right? So it's putting those energies together and giving you what you need in order to get the message.
Wonderful. Yeah, I like it that that there's different ways, and literally as you were talking about Archangel Michael, Mary when who's your favorite angel to work with and why?
Okay, so Archangel Michael, he comes through really, really clearly for me. He and I have been besties for a while because he was one of the first angels I ever saw. But I will tell you, Archangel Gabriel has been coming through in some different ways here lately. He is the angel over artists, communicators, teachers, journalists, and even over activities that are right-brained, creative, like your spiritual work. And so he's been coming through as what I call a one-man band cheering section, and literally has like the big drum like you see in the parades, the cymbals, the trumpet, the harmonica here. And I absolutely love it because I'm like, he is really excited about you moving forward on your path and getting out of your own way and overcoming the fear of procrastination to use your spiritual gifts. So he's really been a lot of fun here lately.
Oh wow, that's amazing. I love that. You know, I mean, do you do, obviously when you do the readings, but do you use them for everyday things like shopping or parking or anything like that?
It was one of the first things that I was taught was to ask them for parking spots. And I was like, okay, I better be doing this right. And now I have my daughters where anytime we get in the car to go somewhere, I've got them hooked where they start asking, okay, angels, we need a parking spot up close. So yeah, even that little stuff. And oh gosh, how many times have you ever gone to the grocery store and have picked the wrong checkout line and it's the longest one, right? So we go, okay, let's ask for the best checkout line. So we do that. And I even get them started on that. I'll tell you what has been really fun is when we've lost something or misplaced it. So calling in Archangel Shamuel, who is the angel of finding. Now, as helpful as this is, you would think I would never forget it. But even though I do this all day long, every day, talk to the angels, I will still forget and go, oh yeah, I need to ask Shamuel to help me find my cell phone or my car keys or whatever I've misplaced. So yeah, I use them for everything during the day. And I've really, especially with the younger generation, I've really been asking the angels to come in and help open their heart to expanding their consciousness and to getting still and getting quiet and not being entertained 24/7. So really asking if they come in and put that calling in their heart to help them want to meditate, to connect. And so that's something that I've been kind of playing with here lately.
Yeah, which I think is absolutely amazing that you're actually doing that. And I think the beauty of the world we live in now is more parents are waking up to that fact and accepting that with their children, and allowing their imaginations to play as well. We're like when we were kids, it's like, well, not so much in my family, but I'll stop imagining that and whatever. But now a lot more parents, guardians are open to actually allowing that side to develop in their children, which I think is absolutely amazing. In fact, you're working with the angels and they're helping your children really.
Yes, and it helps them establish that rapport at a young age before they're too conditioned, like you were talking about. Oh no, that's imaginary, that's not really happening. And really opening them up because my daughters are empaths and I need them to learn, not that they shouldn't be so sensitive, right? But to learn how to shield themselves so that everything doesn't stick, or so that everything isn't just a knife straight to the heart, but so that they can kind of see beyond that. And that's going beyond. So that's something that's really been big for a lot of my clients and my students that I'm certifying, the Heaven on Earth certification. One of the biggest things that we've been really working on is going beyond the ask. Somebody says, is this job the best, or is this person the best? And it's not just saying, yeah, go to that job, or yeah, date this guy. It's let's go beyond it. What does the work atmosphere look like? What are the lessons learned if you take this career path? What are you going to learn? I had an amazing woman come to me, and she's one of my executive mentorship clients. She said, I've got these two proposals coming up. I've been asked to speak in Paris and I've been asked to speak at a hospital. Which one are you seeing? And I said, well, you have free will. It doesn't matter what I see. It's going to be whatever you choose. But I said, it's interesting. Paris doesn't pay you nearly as much as staying in your home state. She said, no. And I said, and it's more uncomfortable and it's harder. And she said, that's what I'm picking up on. And I said, but the reward is greater. She said, how can the reward be greater? It's not even as much money. And I said, you are being challenged. And if you can break through this, you are going to feel so supported, and you are really going to understand that instead of staying with the devil, so to speak, right? And what's comfortable, what's easy, and putting yourself out there and growing and challenging yourself, the rewards you are going to reap are not just that confidence of, I did it, but it's going to go more into your legacy. And that was really profound for her to be able to go beyond that ask and see what else does it do down the road, right? What's the meaning behind it? Is there a soul contract? Is there, a lesson in this? Is this for your legacy? So that has really been so expansive and so helpful on such a different level for people right now.
Yeah, and that really does make sense, because it's time now for us to actually start resolving stuff and moving past that stuff now, so that we are free and open for all the brilliant new stuff that is there waiting to come in, all that new information and everything. So it's not just a case of, yes, go and do that one. Why has this happened? What is going to happen if you do? What happens if you don't? Do that, or the asking why questions, and just being curious.
Oh, it's so, we were playing with my kids, and I've got, some younger kids too. And seeing life through their eyes reminds me of that curiosity that our angels want us to have. So many people I'm seeing, especially right now at this time, people feel like life is happening to them. They don't feel like they have any control. But when you go into the mind of a child, they're curious, they're innocent, they haven't been, slanted on all of these other views. They're not skeptical, they're curious. And that childlike curiosity and innocence is really going to start propelling us to move forward, because we can be our own worst enemy. We start saying, and how many times have y'all done this? We say, oh, let me call so-and-so and see if, they want to do this. Oh no, I know they're not going to want to do this. Okay, well then who else can I call? Right? Or we get, okay, I really need a raise. I could ask my boss. Oh no, he's going to tell me that they're not doing raises across the board. And we think we already know that conversation. And children don't, right? They're young, they're innocent, they want to ask why. And they keep asking, well, why? Why not? Why? Well, when and how? And those are the kinds of questions that we need to be asking our angels to get out of our own way, so that we can start manifesting things and having things happen in our life instead of feeling like life is happening to us.
Yeah, brilliant bit of advice, there. And Mary says that her favorite archangel is Raphael. Is he's the one who comes forward when she does her healing. And yeah, she definitely uses the parking angel. I do all the time. And Joanne for Jester says, hello from Humble, Texas. Do we all have the same angels? That's a good question, because, if I'm calling on Archangel Michael, how can you be calling on Archangel Michael at the same time? How does that work?
A brilliant question, Joanne. Do we all have the same angels? Yes and no. So you may have specific angels and guides who are there during a certain part of your life that may come and go depending on what lessons you're learning and what state of your life you're in, right? Now, the archangels, like Archangel Michael, another one mentioned, Archangel Raphael is her favorite, right? We can all access those angels. Think of them as like the managers. And we can use them and access them all the time. And Michael can talk with you and you and you and you and you all at the same time. I can be communicating with Michael, and he can be communicating with somebody else on the other side of the world. And when I go into the energy of it and I see it energetically, it's like, oh yeah, no problem. If my logical mind tries to make sense of it, then it all just jumbles and I can't do it. But Joanne, you'll have different angels, like your friends and family. They will pray for you and they'll ask for angels to come and surround you over this instance in your life or over this thing you're going through. So different angels are pulled in. So like the angel of parking spots. You may have the angels of meeting new clients. that you call in, or your friends and family call in for you. You may have the angels of sales or marketing, depending on your entrepreneurship and where you are with that. So you can call on them, and it's really important that we know we don't have to know their names. You can call them the parking angels. Hey, the angels of neighbors, I really need your help today, right? The angels of lines, please help me get through this line. The angels of grace, I'm not going to ask for patience, so I'm not tested, but angels of grace, Haniel, please come through and help me with this. So you don't have to have their names, just a general topic of what you're wanting assistance with. And that way there's an infinite number of angels. And it's so funny because people will say, how many angels do I have? And I look up and I see them. They're all standing in my office. And I go, okay, that looks to be about 50. No, wait, hang on. They just multiplied. There's 100. Hold on. Now there's like 500. Oh my gosh. Every time I keep trying to count, it just gets bigger and bigger. So it's totally infinite. So in short, yeah, we all have different angels, but also some of the same.
Yeah. And the most important thing is you don't need to have a name. And I think that kind of like does not make people nervous, but sometimes it's like, well, if I don't know what angel I'm calling in, then then it's not going to work. Or how am I going to talk to that angel if I don't call it a name? It's not going to answer me.
So it's really kind of funny. And I saw this, they came to me in the past couple of years when I had gotten this question from a client. And I said, okay, Michael, I've never really talked to you about this, but let's talk about it. And one of the things they showed me is they do not feel separate from God, source, creator, spirit. Okay. So because they don't feel that separation, they don't need a different identity. When we incarnated on this earth, we felt the separation. We wanted our identity. And as individuals on earth, we want that individual sense of self. So we care about names. So we can identify people individually. The angels, they don't care. They don't have an ego, right? And so they say, hey, if you just say the word angels, shoot, you get close and just say something, we're going to be there. But remember, they can only intervene in your life when it's either not your time to go and it's a near-death experience, or when you ask. So you can say, you can think, you can write, you can sing angels. And if you could see it, you've got hundreds standing right there waiting for you. Think of them in the unemployment line, waiting for you to give them a task. Help me remember this at the grocery store. Help me remember this list. Remind me to be nicer to so-and-so. Put love in my heart. Clear the path for this. Show me the opportunities. And they don't even care about a name. So angels is fine.
Yeah, beautiful, and a good reminder for people. They don't need to get head up on it. So, what's the difference between an angel reading and a spiritual reading or a tarot reading? What's the is there a difference between all the different types of readings?
Sure. Think of it like if you go get a car, you could get a Honda, you could get a Toyota, you could get a Lincoln or a Cadillac. Depending on what you're wanting back, what you're wanting out of it, they're going to have different tools, different accommodations, right? So your different readers will have different tools in their toolbox. I use numerology. I communicate directly with the angels. I see them. I also go into the ascended masters, into your guides, even just sentient beings that are even a higher vibration. I'm working on my angel oracle card deck, and that will be coming out next year. We're really excited about that because people want a tool. They want something handheld they can look at and get that reassurance that what they're intuiting is actually what's coming through. Or having those cards, they can look at it and they can read it and they can go, oh, okay, yeah, I am kind of feeling that and sensing that. So it depends on what tools they're using, what niche. Somebody who uses tarot, the spreads are laid out for different things about what you're running into and maybe even some of the lessons learned behind it. angel cards. It can tell you the past, present, future. It can tell you the solution, what's blocking you, the end result, different things like that. Some readers use astrology, where it's all about the planets and their planetary, the way they're lined up, and what this shift means for the planetary alliance. But when I talk to your angels, I am going to the highest source. I'm going straight to the top, the highest truth and the deepest wisdom. And I'm not just answering your question. I'm using every tool, every gift, every sense that they have given me, and every resource up here. So even though it's an angel reading, yes, I communicate with your angels, but I'm also communicating with ascended masters. I'm also communicating with ETs and ancestors and your legions. I'm communicating with Mother Mary. I may be communicating with Kuan Yin or Saint Germain, and also energetic beings of the light, of God, of source, of the highest plane. And I'm not working with spirits that maybe are earthbound. And I'm also not thinking about, well, what would Courtney do? Right? This is all communication from on high, divine wisdom, divine guidance, straight from the source.
Yeah, beautiful. So that brings us on to another thing. So if someone's sitting there, and they've gone into meditation, they've called on their angel and they're getting information, how do they know it's an angel and they don't know it's something else?
It's very, very real, Rae. And when I teach my students, like in angel school, it is one of the first modules we discuss is setting up your rules of engagement. And it is, what are those boundaries? We may have played with a Ouija board. I mean, come on, kids play with them all the time. And it's not necessarily that it's inherently bad, but you don't have rules. And if you are trying to communicate beyond the veil and you're asking for any spirit to come in, you can get earthbound spirits who don't have your best interest at heart. So it's really important that you set up those parameters for yourself so that when you feel safe, you know who you're communicating with. And that is how you know when you're tuning in that you are connecting with an angel and you're not connecting with something posing as an angel. So yes, it is something, it's one of the first things I teach my students, because you want to be safe doing this. You want to know that you are safe and you're supported, and you don't want to have to sit there and go, oh crap, what if this is somebody or something posing and it's really bad juju? No, get that taken care of, get that out of the way, and follow the rules of engagement to make sure that you're safe in your space.
Yeah. Boundaries are so important before you start any spiritual work in any way, shape, or form. You have to set those boundaries and those intentions. So you kind of like stay on track. I mean, you can go off and meander with the information that comes in, but so you know that it's the exact ones that actually do come in. And Dawn here says, "Hi, Courtney's a great teacher. She will help you lift up." I love that. That is absolutely I love that saying, she will lift you up.
Dawn is one of my certified readers. She just finished her certification, Heaven on Earth. And same thing that you were talking about, Rae. How do you know? Are you sure? Can we do this? When Dawn and I first spoke, I said, so do you think you can be an angel reader? And she's like, oh, no. She said, I just want to, communicate and strengthen my connection. And now here she is on my website doing readings and thoroughly enjoying this. So I want you to know it is something that you have, that natural gift inside of you. And as your teacher, as your mentor, as your coach, when we go through and I teach you how to do these things, it really opens you up and you become the conduit. And then you get the confidence and everything like that. And she's amazing. She really is.
Oh, wonderful. And thank you, Dawn, for coming in and supporting Courtney on today's show. So if there was one tip that somebody wanted to use, a very straightforward, basic tip they want to today, tonight, to connect with an angel, their guardian angel, what would you suggest would be the most easiest basic thing for them to start that communication off?
Ask to communicate with them. And instead of requiring that they only come through by seeing a feather or a penny or a rainbow, allow yourself to expand and allow them to come through in whatever way they want to come through for you. But you have to ask. One of the things that I teach my students is to have a notepad, Post-it notes, spiral, put it next to your bed. When we go to sleep at night, we suspend our reality. We go into a state of awareness and consciousness that allows us to communicate beyond the veil without the skepticism. We're allowing it. So if you go to sleep and before you lie down in bed tonight, just ask your angels, hey, will y'all come to me in my dreams tonight and give me a message? Or even better, write it down on a piece of paper. It's huge for manifesting. Write down, angels, I'm really looking to grow my business and I'd like some information about which direction to go. And leave it out. A pen and paper is an outward sign to the universe you're ready to receive. Now you've just written it down. Even say it out loud so that you get in alignment, heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, conscious, subconscious, superconscious, and you can begin manifesting. And when you wake up in the morning, look back over and see if anything comes to mind. Or right before you wake up, stay in that energy. Stay there for an extra 10 seconds. Replay any dreams or feelings, emotions. Is there a song going through your mind? And write it down. But asking is key. Asking for a sign. If you ask for a sign, you'll get it in 24 hours. And if you don't, it just means you missed it. So ask it again. It's one of the big things I get questions on from clients. How do I know it's a sign? So yeah, and we can go into all the meanings behind the different signs too. So it's really important that you're just asking, and do yourself a favor. Keep a notebook of it, of what these are. What my readers, we have mentoring. And when we go into it, they'll say, okay, I had these dreams. And we can go through and intuit the dreams. And I'll ask the angels, what was the purpose of this? What were they showing? But it's because they ask. They ask, come to me in my dreams. Help me remember my dreams when I wake up. And just that ask is huge.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Best piece of advice I think that Courtney can give. That is the most straightforward, basic, is ask. And they always want us to ask. As you said, it's free will. If we don't ask, and being open to the answers and the signs that they put, or the people they put your way, just be open to it, because we're being given answers every day. We're being shown the breadcrumbs every day, but are we actually looking and noticing when we're asking those questions?
Yeah, we chalk it up to, oh, what a coincidence. Isn't that luck? I'll tell you a quick story. This weekend, my daughter was looking to get baptized, and her name is Kimber. And it was a really big deal for her. And she didn't just want to talk to anybody about it. But we walked through the lobby, and there was this beautiful woman there. And she smiled and said, you've got any questions? Ask me. And I noticed her name tag, and we walked away, and my daughter came back and said, Mom, did you see her name? And I said, I think so. Why? And she said, her name is Kimberlyn. And I went, oh, that's God. Okay. So we went back and we spoke to that woman. Come to find out, she was going through some grief. She just had a relative pass. She's having some hardships with her son and his health. And she said, oh, I'm not here for you. You're here for me. You came to me from God saying everything's going to be okay. And your name is Kimber, and my name is Kimberlyn. And it was so beautiful. But how many times have we had things like that happen and we go, oh, isn't that neat? No, it's a sign, it's a message. And they are, gosh, they've struck up the greatest friendship. And to see that connection between the two of them and how they have both helped each other, it's so beautiful.
And that's amazing. I got goosebumps whilst you were talking about it. That was just so amazing. So, if anyone has got a question about angels that you want to ask that you're not sure about, then you've still got a few more minutes to do that. And whilst you're thinking about that, as regular viewers will know, at this point each week, I normally ask my guests whether they would like me to pull an angel oracle card for them or do a guided meditation. But since Courtney is so brilliant at connecting with the angel realms, we thought we'd mix it up a little bit this week. So I'm going to use the cards to pull a card to see what we will need to know for our highest good. And then Courtney's going to see what information she gets to actually help everyone who's watching this. So let's just give the cards a quick cleanse and a bless. So what do all of us need to know for our highest good at this moment in time? Oh, okay, we'll go with that one then. Let's just decide it's going to jump out for us. Infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life.
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting. So when you look at a card, look at the whole card and you want to see what stands out to you. One of the things I noticed on that is it's not just one person. And that's one of the big things, the big message for y'all here is when we think we have to do it by ourselves, we get a very narrow focus. Think about if you have to clean the house. You can get very micromanaged on one room, one drawer, right? But if you've got somebody coming over to help you clean, you think about your whole house and you go, what's going to be the best use of our time, right? You're expanded. So when I see that card, I notice there's a lot of people, there's a lot of support, there's help in this. So with the abundance coming in, instead of saying it can only come in if I win the lottery, it only comes through my paycheck, it only comes if I work more, right? That's not what God wants for you. He wants peace. He wants joy. He wants happiness in your life. So open yourselves up and expand. Who are the people around you supporting you right now? Who are also supporting you with opportunities, information, showing you the path, introducing you to other people, right? There are so many ways that abundance comes through. And one of the things that we want to think of is where am I feeling expansive? If I talk to this friend, do I feel like I can conquer the world? Or when I talk to this friend, do I feel like, oh, everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Might as well just, have a bunker and live underground, right? What is going to expand you? What is it going to get you to have the peace? And remember, to get to the joy and the happiness, we need to move through the peace. And one of the ways we do that is through faith. So if you imagine just a little kind of like a guided meditation or a mental visual image, everybody close your eyes. Do we have time to do this for a second?
Yeah, of course we have.
Okay. So if y'all are with me, your mission, should you choose to accept it, go ahead and close your eyes and think about the abundance. Think about where in your life you're feeling constricted. Is it the bills? Is it a repair? Are you going into the future thinking about what's going to happen next year and how am I going to pay for all of this? Now I want you to imagine a mountain in front of you. And I want you to be at the top of that mountain, looking out over the world. And as you look out over the world at the top of that mountain, and you think about bringing your gifts, your God-given gifts and abilities to the rest of the world, where do you see pathways open for abundance? Opportunities. People who will support you. Resources, networks, ideas, Well, y'all are just going. I mean, the energy is going up and up and out and out. So know that this is where you want to create from. And if you're not seeing anything, it's okay, because at that point, you give it up to God, you give it to Source, and you go, I know you know what's in my highest and best good. And I may not know how, but I know I'm ready to receive this now. So at the top of the mountain, open your arms and allow your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit to receive that abundance of joy, happiness, peace, opportunities, growth, education, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, mentally, physically, relationally. All of those are open to abundance and receiving more, all for your highest and best good. And take a couple of deep breaths in. And come back into yourself gently and respectfully with the message and with that feeling.
That was beautiful, and it's amazing actually for me personally. I mean, please do share in the comments how it was for you if you're happy to do so. But for me, it was kind of like, oh, actually, what am I trying to find? I've got abundance here. There's more abundance than I thought I possibly had. And then when I was on the mountain and sort of like opened up, it was like this great big golden beam of energy and light just coming all the way down inside me. And I'm so, so grateful for everything I've already got in my life. Which was absolutely wonderful. So thank you for that. And Mary says, beautiful, thank you. And Richard said, infinite abundance is a great card and message. And Kira joined us from London. Good to see you here, Kira. So, Courtney, do you have any insights or thoughts or last words of wisdom to leave our viewers?
Know that your angels have messages for you. And if you want to get clarity on or confirmation, sign up for a reading. I've got readers standing by waiting to help you. But if you're ready to take that step and open yourself up, know that it is as easy as asking for your angels for the wisdom, asking for that guidance, and then allowing it to come through. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And if we will kind of tap out from the news, from the collective consciousness, and really get focused on us within, one of the things that you're going to feel coming through in your heart is you're wanting that divine connection again. And we've been too separated from it, and there is a need for it. So, Rae, it's one of the things that you and I talked about, how we can serve the world, how we can best help the people on this call and in your audience. So I've put together a free angel intuition class that's coming up December 4th. It's going to be on Zoom, and we're going to talk about ways you can communicate with your angels and guides, because they want nothing more than to have that relationship with you, to help you go from where you are now to your highest level, your highest destiny, the highest vibration, that highest path for the highest and best good. But it takes us getting out of our own way. And it takes us moving into a vibration of wanting and having that desire of wanting to understand the messages, wanting to be in that communication and wanting to understand it. And when you get around people who are spiritual, did you know your vibration raises too? So being in that community is going to be huge. And you'll be getting messages all day just from being in that vibration.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And Kira says that they felt happiness when they were doing that guided meditation, which is absolutely brilliant. So I hope everyone, you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. So Courtney, if anyone wants to connect with you, how do they do that? And I know you offered the free workshop, but I think you're also offering a discount on a reading. And when are your cards coming out? And do you have anything else coming up?
We've got Angel School, that the registration is open. It's going to be closing by the end of the year. We've got about 9 spots available for it, for people who want to learn how to communicate with their angels. I do have the 30-minute special. I've got 10 spots open for those. So if anybody wants a discounted reading, it's a huge discount.
It's
And
a
of
very
course,
good discount.
my certified angel readers, they are ready to give you messages as well. The Heaven on Earth certification, I have 3 spots available for that. I feel like that's going to close out before the end of the month. So if you are interested in really expanding your gifts and getting those messages on command, on demand, or maybe you've wanted to be a reader or a healer, or you want to do this as a profession, it's a great way to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. One of my mentoring clients, she's an Olympic gold medalist. She said, I want to learn how to communicate with the angels so I can help support my athletes and teach them when they're at the starting gate or when they're on their strips getting ready to take off for their race, how they can be in communication with their body, with their guides, what they need to know. So you don't have to be a reader to want to enjoy that communication with the angels and guides. So we've got that available. You can go to my website, CourtneyLevens.com, or the free gift link that Rae has for y'all has all of it set up. I do have a few strategy sessions for people. Maybe you're in business for yourself and you're looking for your next way to go. How do I up level my business? Or maybe you are a woman who's very successful in her own business. You're an entrepreneur or a male. One of my clients is an owner of a company. She's super successful. But for her, when we started doing the mentoring, it started off around her business, but it really went into her personal life. And she said, I feel like I'm not doing enough. I feel like I'm not getting enough out of life. She says, I've taken the trips. I've bought the purses, but isn't there more? Right. And so getting her connected with her angels and guides, not so much for her to do readings, but just so she could increase her spirituality, had a snowball effect. And she landed a almost or over $2.5 million deal. She just closed on that. She's now engaged to the love of her life, and they are planning the rest of their life together. So it's not just one area of your life that it affects. It's everything. And it's this culmination. So if you're looking for maybe something a little bit more special than just a life coach or a health coach or a wellness coach, but you want somebody who's getting answers, not from the psychology book, but from the divine, contact me. I'll have a free strategy session for you and I to sit down and talk about what your angels say you need to get from where you are now to that highest vibration of your destiny.
Wonderful. And I put the links to the free gift, the workshop, and Courtney's website, as well as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. You can find Courtney on all of those. And Richard says, thank you to Courtney for everything.
I love it.
Says Courtney's online event on December the 4th will be phenomenal. Yeah, I'm going to try and join it myself, because I always love being in that energy of other people. And that's the thing as well, is finding the people that resonate with you, that are in that same energy as you, because that will also help you grow. And again, as you said, it's that snowball effect. When your energy rises from workshops like this, and that when you leave that, you go out and your energy affects somebody else, and it just makes everything and everyone so wonderful.
I do have a surprise coming up with that class, the free class, being the community. I have heard y'all, and I have heard you tell me what you want. I'm not announcing it yet, but December 4th, I will be announcing something that you've all been asking me for. And that source of community, that group of like-minded people. Yeah. So stick around for that course, because we're going to be announcing some really exciting things, as well as the book and the deck of angel oracle cards that are going to be coming out early next year.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Courtney, for sharing your wisdom. It's been absolutely lovely. And Mary says, thank you. It's been really lovely show. I feel I've learned so much. Thank you, Mary, for watching and joining in. And for everyone who's watching, I'd personally love to invite you to a free 20-minute soul path discovery call, whereas during our time together, we'll pull a couple of angel or oracle cards to gain clarity on what's happening in your life right now and what guidance your higher self or the angels may have for you. And of course, if you feel called, I can also share how we could work together, whether through a past life regression, future life regression, angelic Reiki, or another service, to help you heal deeply, connect with your soul's gifts, and step into the life you're always meant to live. And there's no pressure, it's just an opportunity to explore your path forward. And of course, you can also receive a free gift of Connect with Your Guides Angels PDF or a future life progression recording, as well as a couple of other free gifts by going to the link in the description comments. And again, I want to thank everyone so much for watching and joining in the conversation. You really do help make the show. And I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more people who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny, just like you, and connect more with the angels. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then please feel free to subscribe and hit that bell button to be notified when the show goes live. On my other show, Oracle Card and Meditation, Your Weekend Reset, which goes out live every Friday at 3 p.m, or I post new guided meditations, or a new show I've got coming up, or the Angels and Spirits show. But also remember, every time you like, share, comment, subscribe to either my channel, my work, to Courtney's channel, to Courtney's work, to any of my guests' work, you really are helping with the algorithms. But most importantly, you're allowing that butterfly effect, that message, that energy of unconditional love to actually go out there. So again, thank you all. And I look forward to you all joining me same time, same place next week. Again, thank you, Courtney. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.